so it's been a while since I've done a repair video, and the other day I was taking apart my GameCube when I accidentally snapped off the disc lid sensor, this thing that goes right here. And I thought, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. I have a spare one, and I'm just gonna swap them. And I'm gonna show you how to prevent it and why it happens. Alright, so first of all, it's really easy to take this off. It's just you pull out this connector and you undo the screw. So I'm going to do this last. What I'm first going to do is undo the GameCube. Alright, so as you see, it has a broken disc lid sensor, and I need the 4.5mm Gamebit screws that go on the bottom. So for now, I'm going to unplug the freaking stupid Game Boy player. Over there for now. Alright, so unplug the HDMI adapter too. Alright, so you should have 4.5mm Gamebit screws, and if you have the iFixit Mako toolkit, that will be, oh Jesus Christ, you can see all the dust from the GameCube reshell I was doing. You want the, here we go, focus please, G4.5, so Gamebit 4.5. I gotta clean this screwdriver kit when I finish this video. Alright, but because this GameCube doesn't have that, I just used good old painter's tape or masking tape. Peel it off to make sure that the bottom shell is completely free. Alright, and then we flip it back over, and then we just slide the top shell off. Alright, so let's place this here. Alright, get that centered, and you can see broken disc lid sensor. And we're just going to flip this. Alright, so here you can see the problem. One of the legs snapped off for the disc lid sensor. So unfortunately it won't read the disc. So in order to fix that, we need to replace this. Alright, so first, as you can see, it's being held in by two of these little clips. Oh, I'm gonna unplug all memory cards before doing so. And then you're just going to slide it out and clear these memory card slots, like so. It's out forwards, and then that will reveal the two heat sinks for the memory card slots. Alright, next up, we're going to want to take off the back cover, this thing. And similar, it just kind of hinges outwards like that, and it has to clear these three ports. Simple. So now that we've taken off the top shell, we want to take out the disk drive. Or to do so, we need to undo, how many screws is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Fun. Alright, so first we shall take these two off, because you have to undo these two screws in order to expose the screws underneath. PH2. So if you're using a third-party aftermarket shell, pro tip, you can use the top of the iFixit toolkit things to hold screws. So anyways, if you're using a third-party or aftermarket shell, the screws are going to be a lot harder to take in and out compared to an original Nintendo shell that already has the screw holes like I guess done, like screwed. Okay, so we take out the second screw right here. And if you have an iFixit toolkit, you should have magnetic tips. Not sponsored, but it is useful. Okay, so here it exposes the 3 screws, and we'll just undo those. Use my left hand so you guys can see. And I believe all the screws in the perimeter, with the exception of the heatsink screws, are like the same length and size. So you can put them back in basically any order you want. All right, you know what? Let's just do the heat sinks right now because we're here. Hey, there we go. All right, so you don't have to take them out. You can just keep them in, because when you finish undoing the second screw, you can just pull it straight out. Place that to the side. That's on the left facing, if the controller ports are facing us, so, all right. And you don't have to put them in the same order, but it never hurts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How the hell do I make it so you guys can see? Whatever, you get. Once you get to this point, you'll get it. You'll get the idea. All right, so then now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws back here, and the reason we need to undo this first is so we can move this out of the way and access this screw. Yeah, so when you're undoing these 2 screws, you want to be careful that you don't screw up the disc lid sensor with the wrong hand or something. It's really common that your like screwdriver kind of slips and then you either snap it off or like you kick it out of its place. So just take caution when undoing these 2 screws. All right, so now with all the screws undone, we can go ahead and take out the disk drive. So it's going to be connected to the motherboard at the bottom with a connector around one of the corners, I believe here. So you basically just have to lift up and disconnect the connector. It's gonna take a little force, so don't worry about it. You're gonna kind of want to hold the bottom of the shell down while you lift up. As you can see, everything is free but this corner. That's where the connector is, so you're gonna have to disconnect it with a little bit of force. Nothing too hard. And we flip it over. There you go. That's connector. That's connector we're disconnecting. All right, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that we need to undo. And that will give us access to this drive. I believe you can just use the same screw bit, which is, double check, PH1, which is on these. Let's check. They do work. Nice, nice, nice. So these screws are different sized from the disc tray screws, so you are going to have to keep them separate. But all 6 screws are the same size and length, so you can mix and match. You don't have to put them back in the correct order, because I tend to want to have them back when you hit the ship. fastener. And then with that, the shield should come off. So it's going to be held by these two pegs. Just lift it up. And then place this somewhere. You can also feel free to clean it if it's dirty. Here we go. Ah, classic. That's a Xeno GC that I did many years ago. So here's the connector for the disc lid sensor. As you can see, I wrote just to remind myself. And it's really simple. It's just the connector and it's this. Okay, so to undo it, first you want to undo the screw. You can try to undo the connector first, but it's a lot more difficult if you don't take out the screw first. And then we're going to place this one. And then so this kind of hinges out. And then alright, I'm gonna hold this. There we go. Alright, so I don't know what can be done with this. Maybe you can super glue it back on, but the points of contact are so tiny. Now maybe you can just desolder it and then solder back on a new one. That also works, but where are you gonna find just the lid sensor? I don't know. So now that we got the broken one off, we're gonna go ahead and get our donor one. Here's the donor one. It's got a good lid sensor. There we go. And then I'm just gonna plug that back in. That's back in. Right. Nice. Now let's take ours. So cables are out like that. Place it in the little pegs. Alright, that's centered. Take the screw. Alright, so here's a pro tip. When you need to screw something back into plastic, you basically lefty-loosey until you hear and feel a click, and that's basically the screw dropping into its threads. And then you can just start threading it in. Actually, should I tighten it? I'll tighten it a little bit. There you go. And then we gotta plug this little guy in. And then it's just the reverse. When I put the shell back on, I'm gonna show you what's going on and what causes this to actually snap off and stuff, and how you can avoid it. Or at least how I try to avoid it. Okay, there's the shield. Okay. Alright, so take the thing, and then you line up the connector. The connector and the two black pegs on the right. These two, make sure they all line up, and all the screw holes match up and line up. Alright, we Gucci. Oh my god. Ooh. Too magnetic. Off your thing. Ooh. Getting a black hole. Jeez. Alright, so lefty-loosey until you feel it drop into the threads or click. And then with a little bit of force, but not too much, you should be able to spin it until you have resistance and it stops moving. Oh my god, two! Gosh. One of the more annoying parts about magnet is this. I don't know what's up with the shield, but like, it really screws the magnet tip. It's like, maybe just go shoot. Let's plug this back in. Make sure all the screw holes match up and you're not pinching anything, and just click it down. Okay, so the issue is this disc tray sensor. And what it does is, if you look at the top shell of a GameCube, you flip it over and look at the inside. Here's where you click the button to open the disc tray. You can see, it slides open. The important part is not that button, but back here. You see this little piece of, oops, I'm hitting it, and the GameCube. Okay, so you see this little piece of plastic, right? It moves with the disc tray. Let's take a look at our parts one. All right, so it still has one leg, so you can still see the basic idea of what's going on. And the disc tray is open at the moment. So if we go ahead and close the disc tray, watch the leg, watch the leg. There you go. So with the disc tray closed, the leg is pushed. That tells the console that the disc tray lid is closed, and you can go ahead and start reading the disc without fear of damage to eyes. And then when you click the button to release the top tray, it releases that switch and it tells the console, hey, the disc tray is open, don't read the disc. Don't be shining lasers in people's eyes. Okay, so the problem comes in is when you put the top shell on incorrectly, and this happens. It somehow manages to slip behind. See, this is, as you can see, so this is in front, this is behind. In front, behind. So the issue comes is if it slips behind, and you try to open the disc tray, well, the plastic here hinges. So it's not going to open. And if you try to force the disc tray, it's going to snap the leg straight off. Ask me how I know. So what we have to do is we have to basically be careful and make sure the two black plastic legs go on the smooth surface towards the outside of the console. You don't want it behind right here, because as you can see, it hinges forwards. If it's placed wrong, it's going to catch. So if you try to force that disc tray open, it's going to snap those legs straight off. So a tip is, if you place the top shell on and you click the release button and the disc tray is not opening, well, first make sure you don't have a sticky button like this one. But if you notice it's not opening, do not try to force it. Just close the disc tray back up and try to release the button so it locks back closed, and then lift the top off and try to place it down again. I don't know a good trick to do it, honestly. It just takes a lot of trial and error. So now that we finished talking, let's actually put together the console. Okay, so first things first, we are going to do this out. So So let's do these 3 screws first. So, okay, so turn left until you hear a click and you feel it kind of drop into place. All right, let's place. Ooh, be careful! You got to do this last screw because once you place the fan back on, you can't access it. Button assembly and fan. This one's a little more difficult. Okay, now let's do the heatsink screws, just so we can get that thing out of the way. So for the heatsink screws, you want to make sure they're pretty tight. For these screws, you don't have to be super duper tight, but for the heatsinks, you want them to be flat. You want them basically no movement other than this little kind of fin right here. You don't want this little flat plate to be flapping up and down. Otherwise, it's not good contact and the heatsink can't really do its job effectively. There we go. All right, so the flat part isn't moving at all, and we can just go ahead and... All right, so here are the memory card slots. Just be careful. You want to kind of go... All right, so you want to hinge it in, and then from the front, here's what it looks like. Take it off. That's it. All right, so when you're hinging it, it should kind of go underneath and then slide up. There you go. If you try to go just straight head on, it's going to get blocked by the doors. Now, it's my phone, not yours. So yeah, be careful when you're screwing out and screwing in, just because the disc sensor's right there. So I'm gonna do a couple practice runs putting this back on before I go ahead and put the backplate back on, because once the backplate back on, I don't know, in my opinion, it's really difficult to get it lined up just right. All right, so open. Yeah, so see, so okay, yeah, this button's really sticky, but if you put it in correctly, I'll go ahead and show you. And see, it's on the smooth part. The two legs are on the smooth part. They are not behind where the ridge is. They are on the smooth part. And when you open the disc tray, and see, it releases the two little legs, and when you close the disc tray, it activates the legs. It pushes it in. Okay. So now I gotta take this off and I gotta put this guy on. Okay, so this one, it also kind of goes in like the controller port. It goes in from the, oh, I have it flipped. Okay, it goes in from the bottom where the vents are, and then it kind of hinges upwards. And it should match the power. It should match the power and AV ports and digital out if you've got it. 101s don't got that, so. Okay. Round 2. Let's try to put it on correctly. So I would suggest you get a pretty high table and kind of place the top shell while you're eye level with that little switch. It's not perfect, but also I would suggest you get a flashlight just so you can see. Like right now. The only problem is the back plate has this little protrusion that basically has a perfect blocking view of the little legs, so you can't really see it. It was black on black. All right, so yes. First try. Okay, now let's go ahead and see if this actually works. So I'm going to move the tape. Okay. I'm going to grab a power supply and an HDMI cord for this guy. So here, back. Moment of truth. Turns on. Will the TV turn on? Or monitor? Oh, it does. Okay, hold on. Nice. Time's wrong. Or I guess that's probably... no, the time's wrong. But, hey, I got Swiss. Let's try to boot up a game. It should be in games. Let's do Pokemon box. Here. Yeah, if you're wondering why I have it set up like that, it's because Nintendo don't. That's the only way I can read GameCube games, if it's in like that format. Yes, I would like progressive scan mode, please. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on the Game Boy. Where's the light? There you go. And it's going to boot into Emerald. Oh, there we go. Alright, nice, so it does work. Yep. Arrange boxes. Yep, that's definitely boxes. Alright, so, yep. The disk drive is now back in working order. So I guess this is no longer relevant, but yeah. All right, let's try turn. Nice. So the disk drive indeed works again. And that's how you avoid snapping the lid sensor off the GameCube disk tray. Yeah, I guess disk tray board. Very annoying, but luckily if you do break it and you don't have a spare disk drive, you can just go to eBay or AliExpress and get the replacement board for like 15 bucks, 13 bucks, something like that. So not the end of the world, it's just annoying. And yeah, now I just need these screws, and I'm gonna go and cross these out. Now I just need to find some screws so I can get rid of the duct tape on the sides. And that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully this tray lid sensor will be as kind to you as it was to me for this video. Alright, peace.